Oh, landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And when life doesn't give you lemons, you make scurvy. But today, we're going to take a look at the Civivi Odium. And this is compliments of Tim's School of Fish. So he was selling off a bunch of knives he wasn't using anymore, and this was the right knife at the right price, so I jumped on it, and it got shipped out to me in no time flat. Tim, if you see this, let us know if you're going to do some more sales in the future, because I definitely love it when you do these. There's always one that I want, and I think I missed the last two, but that's neither here nor there. This is about the Civivi Odium, and let's take a look at what we got here. And first things first and most important, you got a pocket clip that's tip up, which is the Lord's carry. It's a fairly deep carry pocket clip, but not 100%. You've got a flipper tab right here and a thumb hole. So first thing, let's flick the bean. And of course, let's make it sound dirty. Let's flick the hole. And it's a small knife for me, but the flick off of the thumb hole is fairly comfortable. If you look, this handle is pretty damn small in my hand. Like, that's a 3-finger grip on a good day. But this choil here is generous enough to really choke up on it. And, of course, you got a liner lock here. And I carried this for a week. Like, it was a full work week. And let's get some specs out of the way, because, for once, I looked at the specs before I started recording. Let's flick the bean. So, 2.65-inch blade, D2 steel. It weighs 2.5 ounces. And the Amazon listing I looked at, they were no longer available. I think I saw a used price for something ridiculous like 70 bucks. So I will post a link to the Amazon listing that has one for sale if I can find it, and let you guys have a crack at it. Carrying this thing, however, this thing clipped into the waistband pretty well. It liked going over the belt a little bit, but that stretched the clip out a bit more than I was comfortable with. But in the waistband and also the hem of a pocket, that retention is quite good. There's some good snap to it, and the way this thing is shaped, it slides in easily and catches the way you want it to. It's a good pocket clip. The dingus end sticking up above the pocket clip's the only real gripe I have. When I have something above the pocket clip, I prefer it to be flatter across the top or even rounded out. Just something a little bit less pokey than this. It really didn't give me a lot of trouble, but it liked to grab my shirt and, kind of tangle up in it and pull it up out of my waistband as I was working. And trying to fish in there to get it out, this would catch on the shirt and make it so hard to extract this from the waistband. And that drove me a little bit nuts. It's not a huge gripe because it's a problem unique to me. Very few people are complete degenerates in carrying the waistband. Most of y'all are sane and carry them in your pockets. But, beyond that, one thing I did encounter was the typical Civivi factory edge. It's a quite good edge, don't get me wrong, but it's not as sharp as, say, the cold steels that I get, doing the plastic cut on the pallets, cutting that saran wrap off. It did great through multiple layers, and it got to that single layer, and there was just a bit of resistance where, a better factory edge would blast through it like you're cutting water. This is still really good, though. Like, compared to a lot of other things, it's still a really good edge. This thing can shave, it's just not happy about it, but it is popping some hairs off. So, I mean, it does shave. It does. So that's a nice new bare patch right there. And all the hair on the back of my hand had just started growing back from playing around on the live streams with stuff that couldn't shave out of the box. So I'm getting to put new bald patches on it. Let's do some paper. This thing has seen some light use. So... See, this even compensated for my bad second cut. That second cut that I always mess up, it managed to compensate for it. So, I mean, that is a good factory edge. And like cold steel is kind of my gold standard for factory edges, the way I like them out of the box. Kind of like the Benchmade bug out is my gold standard for comfortable carry. Just cold steel does it better than most, and I haven't had a cold steel edge that I've been disappointed with yet. So this thing went through a lot of plastic on pallets and multiple layers. It just blasted through it. I've had a few of them that felt like they had 20 or 30 layers wrapped around it, and it just went through them like it was nothing. It's just that single layer, little bit of resistance. You can feel it. And, so that's not a ding on this knife. That is still a really good edge. And I think I got this thing from Tim for 33 bucks all in. And, that is the right knife at the right price. Any of the gripes I have are very, very minute. especially at that price point. This a few years ago, this would have been like a $60, $70 knife, not that long ago, and just how far and how fast budget knives have come. 33 bucks is a fair price for this thing. You might be able to push it out to 40 and still be good. Like, I could see 40 bucks, but, getting up into like the $50 range, nah, like, you can buy so much crazier stuff for 50 bucks. And I'm not like a small knife guy. I am becoming more and more used to easier carries with smaller knives. They do not make up for my love for preposterously large folders, but I am getting more used to smaller knives and getting more comfortable with them and finding out, I do like them quite a bit. And if you're not a fan of driving a small car, then a small knife is the way to go to make sure everybody knows about your enormous crotch. So that is out there. That is something that you may or may not do with as you will. But, overall, this thing is, it's good. Just my biggest complaint really is, it's so small that, trying to flick off of the thumb hole, for me personally, is hard. But I got like really big gorilla hands. Those are extra large gloves. And you want to see a magic trick? Gone. Like, that's how small this thing is. So, like, for a smaller knife, I definitely like this. Just this dingus in right here is what drove me nuts on it, getting tangled up in my shirt nonstop. In your pocket, it's shaped where this should ride up against the hem of your pocket, and this will be clipped in, so you probably won't, you really won't have the problems I have with it just because I'm a degenerate and carry a knife weird. So, yeah, I can definitely say this is worth the money if you can find it at MSRP. The listing I saw on Amazon, I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but there was like a used one, a used best price, $68. And like I said, I'll try to find a link for them at retail, and if I can, I'll post that. But yeah, this is a good little knife. And as an addendum, I think Friday I'll probably do another live stream. And we're going in on some 14C 28N on a knife I don't care for that much. I am finding that the knives I don't care for that much that have, different steels, I don't mind chewing them up on the cardboard because it's not like I'm going to use them for anything else. And this right here is going to be our victim, and it's a Civivian, and I love what I've got from Civivian except for this one. And they got so many things right, but they got so many things wrong. Let's flick the bean. This is a scary bean to flick, guys. So, you got like a nice large blade, 14C 28N. That is a full flat all the way up to the top here until you hit the fuller. This thing's going to slice like crazy. Just the problems I have is the combination of this front flipper and the back flipper. If you can't get your finger out of the way fast enough, it's a heavy blade with a strong detent, and it swings around and you get crushed. And this is very painful. That is a strong fingernail smash. The front flipper, this knife is so wide and flat that it's really hard to use the front flipper, especially with that strong detent. It is hard to break that loose, so that's not the most comfortable. And the thumb hole right here, also stiff detent and a small, like the thumb hole is too small. If it was a bigger thumb hole, I would be totally fine with this thing. Especially like when this thing is like open like this, it looks like a dragon's head, and I love that. But like all the opening mechanisms are badly designed, and this thing also rubbed like crazy. It was so uncomfortable to carry. Even in my pocket, it wasn't that comfortable. And it's unfortunate because I love the way this thing looks open. All right, I love this. The way it looks closed, it's okay, but the ergos and the opening mechanisms are so bad. So we are going to go in on this thing, and I'm expecting a full 3.5 hours of cardboard slicing before that edge goes out. And all that being said, that does depend on when I can get to the camera. Yeah, so we'll deal with that when we get there. But those are those things. This is a Civivi Odium. Yeah, I can say overall it's good. At MSRP, if you can find one, it's a good buy. But all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. You keep coming in. I'm so grateful, and I am very humbled by it. Thank you so much. Comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this guy or anything else. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.